They handed me a garbage bag full of my things and slammed the door, while my birthday cake was still on the table. I didn't say a word. I just stood there, 23 years old, jobless, homeless, and heartbroken. I could still hear my mother laughing behind the door, telling my dad, "Finally, some peace in this house." My only crime? I told them I wanted to stop giving them half my paycheck. That's it. Before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you've ever been underestimated by your own family. Because what happens next? No one saw coming. I walked 3 blocks, dragging the bag along the wet sidewalk. My phone buzzed with notifications. Birthday wishes from friends who had no idea I was now living on the street. No one knew what was really going on behind those perfect Instagram family photos. My parents were addicted to appearances. The lavish dinners, designer clothes, luxury vacations, all funded through my accounts. That's the part they never told anyone. They told the world I was failing, a disappointment who couldn't hold a real job. But the truth was, I had built something, quietly, privately, and they had no idea. A year ago, I had started learning about digital finance and fraud detection systems. I even did a course on financial tracing just out of curiosity. When I noticed strange transactions from my bank account, like luxury items I never bought, I didn't confront them. I simply started documenting everything. They thought they were clever. They thought they could keep using me like a human ATM and kick me out when I said no. What they didn't know was I had already taken back control. And the best part? They were about to discover it, in the most public and humiliating way possible. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the back booth of a 24-hour diner sipping coffee I couldn't really afford, replaying every word they'd said as they kicked me out. "You're lucky we even let you live here this long, Lyric," my dad had barked. My mom? She didn't even look at me, just waved her hand toward the door like I was a stray dog. But while they were busy celebrating my absence, I was already 5 steps ahead. First thing that morning, I logged into the master financial account, my account, the one they had no idea I still had access to. They had used my identity to sign up for multiple credit cards and loans. I had reported every fraudulent activity over the past 6 months to all the major banks. All I needed to do now was hit freeze. Click. My father's platinum card. Frozen. Click. My mom's favorite department store account. Gone. Click. Their travel rewards card with over 300,000 points. Locked. At that exact moment, they were standing in the checkout line of a luxury store downtown, trying to buy a new $2,000 handbag for my mom's stress. My phone lit up with a fraud alert. Declined. Again, and again, and again. I turned up the volume and listened to my dad's voicemail come through, his voice rising in panic. "Lyric, what did you do? Our cards aren't working. Fix it right. Now!" I smiled. For the first time in years, I felt power. But this was only the beginning, because what I had planned next was going to shatter them. And not just financially. They had made sure to humiliate me in front of the whole family during my birthday dinner, told everyone I was lazy, a leech, that I should be grateful they let me stay. But guess what? Next week, every single one of those relatives would be at my cousin's engagement party, and I had just bought a very expensive surprise for that evening, one they would never, ever forget. The engagement party was held at a luxury venue in the city, the kind of place with glass chandeliers, velvet curtains, and waiters who wore white gloves. My cousin Kayla looked stunning, and the United entire family was there, laughing, posting selfies, pretending everything was perfect. My parents were, of course, the loudest in the room. Dressed in their designer clothes, they were putting on a performance, like nothing had happened. Like they hadn't thrown me out like trash just days ago. But what they didn't know was the real spotlight wasn't on Kayla that night. It was on me. I stepped into the hall in a tailored navy blue suit. Not rented. Mine. Bought and paid for. By the LLC they didn't know I owned. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. Even Kayla stared, confused, because I looked nothing like the broken girl they'd mocked. "Oh, look who decided to show up," my dad scoffed, already clutching a champagne glass he couldn't pay for. "Here to beg for forgiveness, Lyric?" I didn't answer. I just smiled and walked past him, straight to the stage. The microphone squealed for a second, then silence fell over the crowd. "I know this night is supposed to be about love and celebration," I said calmly, my voice steady. "But I'd like to say something on behalf of the people we love and how they treat us behind closed doors." Murmurs started. My mother's fake smile faded instantly. I pulled out my phone, connected it to the projector, and with one swipe, the screen behind me lit up. Bank statements, fraud reports, signed credit card authorizations. Proof. Every single transaction they had made in my name. Thousands and thousands of dollars. While calling me lazy to everyone in this room. The silence was suffocating. People stared at them. A few gasped. One uncle even muttered, "Wait, wasn't that your Bali trip?" My dad's face went white. My mom dropped her glass. They were exposed, right there, in front of everyone. "I wasn't the failure," I said. "I was the funding." And just like that, I stepped off the stage, leaving behind 2 ruined reputations and a room full of people who finally saw the truth. But that was still not the end. Because my final move, it was waiting for them at the front door. As I walked out of the hall, I didn't look back. Not once. I didn't need to. I could hear the whispers behind me, the judgment, the awkward shifting of chairs. My parents had always cared about one thing, their image, and in 10 minutes I'd burned it all to the ground. But I wasn't done yet. Outside, parked right at the front entrance, was a sleek, matte black Mercedes-Benz. Custom plates, paid in full, waiting for me. The valet held the door open like he already knew I didn't belong in the shadows anymore. I got in, calmly, like I'd done this 100 times before. As I pulled away, I caught sight of them storming out behind me. My mother was barefoot, having ditched her heels, her face red and trembling. My dad was yelling into his dead phone, still trying to call banks that had already closed every card they ever used. That's when the second part of my plan kicked in. The envelope. I had paid for a courier to deliver it to them at the venue entrance, timed exactly as I drove off. Inside, a printed letter, just 1 sentence. The condo, the car, and the retirement fund, all under my name now. You're welcome. I had legally taken everything they'd built using my credit and my income. I wasn't just a victim anymore. I was their landlord, their financier, and now, their biggest regret. Later that night, I checked the security cameras on the condo I had secretly transferred into my name last month. Sure enough, my dad was standing at the door, pounding on it with a suitcase in one hand, yelling like a madman. My mom sat on the steps, crying, makeup smeared, locked out, of everything, just like they did to me on my birthday. Funny how life circles back. But still, a part of me didn't feel satisfied. Because I wasn't just building revenge. I was building legacy. And my last move would make sure they never messed with me, or anyone else, ever again. 3 weeks later, the final nail in their coffin arrived. Not from me, but from the government. You see, in their greed, my parents had not only stolen my money, they had also been lying on their tax returns, using my accounts, my identity, and my employment to dodge payments. What they didn't know was that I had forwarded all the documentation I'd gathered to the IRS, with a neat little summary of how they'd manipulated my finances. The investigation moved fast. One morning, I woke up to a news alert. local couple. Under federal audit for tax fraud and identity theft. There it was. Their names, their faces, their perfect reputation, destroyed. But I didn't celebrate. I simply went back to work. The same work they mocked me for. The same remote tech consulting firm I'd built from scratch, in silence, while they laughed at me for wasting time online. What they called laziness was actually 16-hour days of research, coding, and managing international clients. I had built a 6-figure income stream while sitting in the same house where they insulted me daily. And now, I was buying my second property, not to live in, to rent, to families who deserved warmth and safety, unlike the one I grew up in. As I signed the closing documents, my phone buzzed. A message from my mother. "Please, we're sorry. Just help us." Stared at it for a long time, then deleted it. Some things don't need a reply, because the best kind of revenge is success they're forced to watch from the outside, and that's exactly where I plan to keep them. Like, subscribe and share this story if you believe in silent comebacks, hidden success, and taking back your power. Lyric didn't just survive, she won. And so can you.